Hello and welcome to the Creabea Knitting podcast. Hello, my name's Rebecca, I'm the Creabea, and this is a vlog or a podcast all about knitting, what I'm currently knitting on, what I've been knitting on, and what I'd like to cast on in the not too distant future. And it's an exciting episode today. I've got some finished objects, I've got some acquisitions, I've got lots of works in progress. Before I jump into all of that, it is very nearly my birthday, and so I'm currently having a birthday sale on all of my self-published patterns. I only do a sale once a year, it's my birthday sale. You can use the code Happy Birthday to You on Ravelry on my website and get 31% off of all of my patterns. It is currently Saturday, it'll run until Sunday evening, so tomorrow evening at midnight, and then that's it done until I turn 32. So I just want to start the episode off with that one. Tuesday the 26th is my birthday, and so yeah, it's fun to bring it in style with a little birthday sale, and hopefully you can enjoy and pick out any patterns you've got your eye on. I love doing my birthday sale. I also really love that to me it marks like the end of the year, and then the start of the new year begins in September, which is when my new pattern, my winter patterns come out. So my year runs like September to March, winter patterns, and then April, May, spring type things, and then June, July, summer patterns, and then we take August off, do a birthday sale and start all over again. So it's a fun time of year for me. It's very transitional, and yeah, hopefully you can enjoy that discount. Without further ado then, let me jump into everything else I have. Let's start with what I'm wearing, because I'm wearing a finished object, and it's a little strange because it's not, I don't have a test call for this just yet, it's still in progress, but it's finished and it's kind of just cool enough to get away with wearing a DK weight sweater, so I thought I would wear this on the podcast today. And I feel like whenever I come on an episode I've got like a new pattern on, but this one won't be for a while and I don't want to wait that long until I can show it. So I am wearing my new round yoke sweater. It is called Ariundle, A-R-I-U-N-D-L-E. It is the name of a very old oak wood in Scotland, and I got that name because I'm sitting cross-legged, so I was like scooch up towards you. But you can see it has what I think looks a little bit like roots. Sam calls it my cathedral sweater. He thinks it looks like the sort of, I don't know what it's called, I'm sure it's got a name, the sort of stonework you see at the top of cathedrals. And it's all worked in ribbing, so 2x2 or like there's some one single ribs, and cables. What I love about the sweater is it has some raglan shaping to finish off. You can just see the raglan line there, and I think as a result of that the fit is really good. I learned this with my Kintra last year to add some raglan increases, and I think you just end up with a much better fitting sweater than a purely round yoke sweater. I see it quite often now, the ranunculus has it. I feel like that's an easy one to reference because I think everyone's knit a ranunculus or 2 or 5 or at least knows the pattern exists. But I feel like if you don't have that, you end up with like a bulging, you end up with too much fabric, and either it bulges at the top of the arm or you get this like weird fold here on the arm, and that is because of there being too much fabric on the arm, because you have to get more yoke increases in, and so you have to do them all around the yoke and then you end up with too many on the arm, whereas this way you can work more raglan increases. So yeah, I really like it. I worked this up in West Yorkshire Spinners BFLDK in the colourway Fellside. I think it's glorious. It's not really my standard colour palette, but I think this is like it's like a glowy mossy green. I think it's coming across really well on camera. And yeah, I think I called it my Celtic goddess sweater because I feel like with my dark hair and my peely wally pale skin and this sort of glowing green, I feel like I should be, I don't know, running through a glen and casting spells on people or something. So yes, this is Ariundle. It is not quite in check edit yet. It's not even written yet, which I probably shouldn't be wearing when it's not written yet, but it will be. It will be like a next season pattern, so it will come out before it gets warm again. But yeah, I need to get it written up, and I've got a second pattern that's going to come out at the same time. So I guess I've got another finished object, but I'm going to jump ahead, change up the order a little bit today. I'm also making a really conscious effort to slow down. I am a very fast talker, and I don't really mind, but at the same time it's something I should do if I'm planning to be online. I should get my speed of talking back under control. So my second, so this is not really the second sample, but the first whip I'm going to show you is the same stitch pattern as the Ariundle, but a different construction. Now when I first watched this, I was really torn about whether or not I should do a drop shoulder or a round yoke, and I knit this and I loved it so much, and I think it's perfect. I love the fact that it's a yoke only, but I was still feel like I was like not done with this stitch pattern, so I cast on the drop shoulder version as well. I shared in the last episode that I knit a lot of swatches. I think here's a couple of them actually. I think I knit well over 10 swatches to decide what yarn to use, and I landed on Cascade 220, and I wanted a colour that would go well with this sample, and I think it does. It's a really lovely contrast and very like earthy, I guess. This is the colour Ginger, did I say that? I can't remember. And so this is what I've got so far. So I have worked the body. Now I will say it's all over cables, so the fabric will change dramatically with blocking, and it's all looking a little bit scrunched up right now, but you can still get the idea. Looks so good on camera. Oh my goodness, I know the Cascade was the right choice, because this is just, it shows off texture so well. So it's the way that this works is there's a certain amount of ribbing, and then you work out the cross pattern, and then you work some more ribbing. And so that's exactly what I've done here. I've extended the cross pattern to be a little bit longer, and in those there's some sections where there's none of the crossing, there's just 2x2, and in those 2x2 sections I've added a little cable cross to keep things interesting, as if things weren't already a little interesting. So technically it's an all over cable sweater. It doesn't look like an all over cable sweater, but technically it is. It's on try-on cords because I got to the end of my ball of yarn and I wanted to add the collar, and so I need to reattach the body. I find that it's quite an open neckline, and I find that with the open neckline adding the collar makes such a difference with fit, so I decided to do that early. And also I'm trying to get better at taking work in progress photos, because right now I just fly through the entire project because I'm so excited about it, and so I don't take any work in progress pictures. So I have done that now. So a few details. It is very similar to my favourite drop shoulder construction. It looks like there's a little bulge at the top back. I'm sure that won't be there when blocking, but right now it is just like, you see that? It looks a little like bulbous. So there's a single increased line in the shoulder. It's a sort of trapezoid construction, and then I've done a really chunky neckline because I wanted the neckline a 2x2, and then both the body and the sleeve I can just run into 2x2 from the stitch pattern, but I wanted there to be something between the body and the neckline. So there's a welt there, which is something that's kind of a new technique to me, and it's really fun. I was torn between what method to do. You can do a double knit welt, or you could do a welt where you pick up all your stitches, knit some stockinette, and then knit back into the row below, and that creates the bump. But I went with a double knit welt, and I think it's just a little bit easier to knit, to be honest. So that was my decision. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this, and it's actually going really quite quickly. I showed this last week or 2 weeks ago, and I actually had to rip back fully what I had then because I just miscounted, and I had more than 10. I think I had like 14 too few stitches. And I was like, why is this math? I was getting ready to pick up for the shoulders, and I was like, wow, I'm really struggling to get the pickup rate I would expect. And then I picked up one in every stitch, and I was like, nope, that's still not enough stitches. What is going on? And then I counted all the back I'd finished the back panel, and I counted the stitches, and I was like, oh, I've got 14 stitches here that I should have. And I'd done the mistake in it was all in the back shaping, so I had to go all the way back to the back shaping and re-go from there. Good news is I'm back on the right track now, and as you can see, it's going pretty well. I really want the second one to be a white, or like a just off-white with mohair. I think it would just look so interesting. But that's still a while away. I'll finish the first sample first. I've not worked out what I'm doing with the sleeves yet. That's kind of in my brain. Like I have to work that out eventually. I need to work out how to do decreases in pattern. But it'll just marinate in my brain for a little while until an idea pops up, which is usually how it happens. And then yeah, I'm just working away on the body. So I'm enjoying this a lot, and I feel like the two of them are very complementary. I think my plan is to release them both as individual patterns on the same day, and maybe like a bundle or something, which I'm also looking forward to. And then yeah, oh, I love it so much. I love how the sweater glows. I think it's just so I really want a dramatic blocking video from before it's blocked to after it's blocked. So I've not blocked anything yet. Now usually this would be my typical time to stop and block. And I've kind of torn. I guess the thing that will depend is the fact that the room that I'm currently filming in, which is the room that I would normally be blocking in, I don't have space really to block anywhere else in the house. This is like my office and my yarn room and also our spare room. We have people staying for the next like 5 nights, and we've just had people staying as well. So really I'm not going to have time, because I'm not going to be able to blab this out anywhere to block it. So I am just going to keep going, and then I'll block it when I'm done, and it'll be dramatic and hopefully it'll fit. I'm pretty confident in my numbers on this, and the fit is very similar to my stick season, which I love the fit of, so I'm not too worried about any of that. I just don't want to do anything stupid in terms of messing up. And I guess I want to make sure that, yeah, I'm thinking about this now, I want to make sure that the sleeves line up. I want the pattern, I didn't think about that, I want the pattern to line up on the sleeves the way it does on the body, so that's something to consider. So yes, I've not made I've made a lot of progress on this, but now I've gotten kind of past the interesting part, which is joining everything and doing the maths, and now it's just a case of knitting, and it's not plain stockinette, so I find myself not reaching for it. But I think the fact that it's been on try-on cords is what has slowed me, or what's made me stop trying. I need this. I only have one, well I actually don't, I have more in a box somewhere, but that would require more effort than I'm willing to put in, and I want this giant try-on cord back, so I will, after this video, get this back on my needles. Purely because of the motivation that I want my try-on cord back. So yeah, oh, and this is called Taynish, Taynish, which is also a very old, not an oak forest, but another very old forest in Scotland. And I love the fact that they're both, yeah, they're both like foresty and oaky, and I think this one especially looks kind of like tree roots, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. I'm so pleased with this. I know I need to be a little bit careful and not wear it too much until the pattern, at least until the pictures are taken, but I don't want to. I want to wear it right away. And the short rows are worked into the neckline, which I really like. It's the first time I've done that, and I wasn't sold on it when I first did it. I thought it might look a little bit clunky, but in the finished sweater I think it looks really, really slick, and the fit is, as you can tell, like the fit is really, really good around the neckline. There's no, my t-shirt doesn't gape at all, which I like. I'm wearing a black t-shirt underneath, so a lot of the time with necklines you can see the t-shirt peek through. That doesn't happen. It's a close fit, but it's not too high here at all, because I think there's something like 8 rows of short row shaping worked into that neckline. So yes, I'm very happy with this, if you can't tell already. And I have a grey blue yarn for sample 2, but I'll have to wait a little while because I need to get some samples knit up for patterns coming out first. I've got my September, October, November patterns, or my September, I've got 2 in October actually, one the start, one the end. Only have 1 sample, so I need to get them knit before I go casting on second samples of anything else. So yes, at the top I'm showing you something very exciting and what I would consider to be incredibly beautiful, and also saying to you I don't know when it's coming and it's not even written yet, but let's just say that you're here for my creative endeavours and not just to find out when my new patterns are coming, and then it's okay. Okay, let me show my next work in, oh actually no, I've got another finished object, so let me show that one. So I again have a pattern coming out that's not, it's currently with Tick Edit at least, that one is at least slightly further ahead. It is called Insh, I-N-S-H. It is going to be a mega pattern. It is a Henley, and I'm going to have half fisherman's rib. It's actually not, you know, a Henley. There are 2 sweaters. Let's rewind. Back to the start. I have a pattern coming out at some point in the next season called Insh. It started off as a Henley and has now morphed into a variety of different looks. It is a round neck or a Henley neckline. It is half fisherman's rib or plain stockinette, and it's a men's fit or women's fit. The thing that is all the same is that they all have saddle shoulders. And generally like all the rest of it other than just the neckline and the texture is the same, but yeah, they all have this like saddle shoulder detail. And so I finished my most recent sample. I finished my half fisherman's rib on a while ago, and I'll say I finished this. It doesn't have buttons yet, and it's going to need buttons. So yes, so here is my Inch Henley. I wore this yesterday. Yesterday was the first day of sweater weather of the year. It was like 15 degrees, and I went for a chai at our local bookstore / cafe. I went for a walk on the beach, and it was a perfect day. I was like overcome with joy all day. I was so happy, and I think it's just because it was starting to feel a bit colder. I will regret this when it is dark at 4 p.m. and I'm freezing, but in the meantime I really enjoyed it and it was lovely. So I wore this because what else would you wear to walk on a beach with ultimately? It's glorious. I like it a lot. It is a saddle shoulder. Now this is a size up from my half fisherman's rib one, so it's a little bit more oversized, but I still love the fit. It is a Henley neckline, as you can see. Now I deepened the neckline on this because I wanted to test out if I gave the flexibility of saying like, here's how the Henley works, you can change up where you put it, how easy was that to follow? The answer is very easy. And as I said, it's not got buttons. Now the reason it doesn't have buttons is because I wrote the instructions out for the Henley neckline and I added the buttons on the second part, but you pick up behind. The first one is the one that's on top, and then the second one is the one that you pick up from behind, just so that in case you pick up any stitches second time around that are a little bit messy, got a loose yarn here that I not cut, then it's hidden behind it. But of course I couldn't put buttons on there because that would not be the right place for the button. That's where the buttons should go, not the buttonholes. So I need to put buttonholes on here. I don't really want to undo the whole thing, although I'm now, after wearing it yesterday, I am wondering if I want to make this a chunkier neckline, but I'm undecided. I'm struggling with my Henley. Both the other one I think the neckline is too chunky and this one I think it's not chunky enough, so I think I'm just being indecisive. But I think I'll do afterthought buttonholes and to work out what buttons to put on as well. But yes, I am enjoying it a lot. I really, really, really like this pattern. It's midway through the grading process. I just think like I love like, the cleanness of those lines. And this will be a giant test knit, so I think it'll be, is it the next one or a little while away? It's either in 2 weeks or 4 weeks that the test call comes, I'm not sure, but it'll go in the newsletter. And it's glorious. I used Laxtons Sheepsoft in, I can't remember what the colour names are, but navy and white. My first sample is also knit in Laxtons Sheepsoft and I love that one too. It's up there above my head somewhere and I can't be bothered getting it. Is it too far away? I actually can't see it right now. Also Laxtons Sheepsoft, so it's been a yarn I've really enjoyed working with, and I would like to get at least the yoke done on the third sample, which is a round neck version, before the test call. I'm pretty confident about the rest of the body fit and the sleeve fit because they're all the same across all 3 sizes, but I like to show the round neckline so at least people know what it looks like. Goodness knows when I'll get to that at some point in the next 2 to 4 weeks. For once, I think it's because we've had a very, very sociable time. It's August, which is when the Fringe Festival's on in Edinburgh, which is glorious. It's such a fun thing, but it's busy and I'm far more sociable than I normally am the rest of the year, which is nice but also a little bit chaotic. And I can kind of knit in some shows, but like some shows it just doesn't really feel like the vibe. So my evenings are busier. I'm not doing as much knitting. I'm really on top of my admin right now, but I find that it sways very readily between I'm either on top of my knitting and I'm very behind my admin, or I'm on top of my admin and behind my knitting. And I think I'm in the second situation right now, which is my admin is done for the most part. There's always more admin to do, but my admin is all the important things are done and I'm just trying to get some knitting time right now. So hopefully this week I'll get some time. It's only Wednesday today, the video is coming on Saturday, but I've got friends arriving and staying in this room this evening, so I'm filming before they come. Okay, that is Insh. It's glorious, I love it. I'm a bit obsessed. I think at this point I'll only have space for one more winter design, and I've kind of got, like I have not a backup, but I've got a concept in my head, but it's like, it's not really fully realised. And I find that what I can do at this point is either I can let it like percolate, or I can do a lot of swatching and like force some decisions, but I don't need to do that. So I'm just going to let that sit, because I think what will likely happen is that as the winter proceeds, or when the weather starts to get colder, I'll get some more inspiration. I definitely find that I am more inspired by the current season I'm in than the next season. Like I find it hard to design ahead, which is why I'm now designing a year in advance. So ultimately, if I've got space for one more this year, and then everything else I'll consider won't be all my needles. Like if I've got space for one more winter design, and then any more winter or like cold weather designs that come up will be for 2026, which is wild. But I guess that's what happened because my next couple of designs I also started in like January, February this year. So let's talk about this project. I'm enjoying this so much. I need to, that is my task for today, is get some sleeve caps on this. I don't know what's wrong with me about sleeve caps, but I really delayed sleeve caps. They're never as bad as I think they're going to be, but for some reason there's something about them that I'm just a bit like, oh, I have to do the sleeve cap. It's a bit like picking up for the neckline. It's the same sort of mental barrier for me. Maybe it's the picking up of the stitches. I'm not sure. This is my Firth sweater. This is my first design that will come out for the colder months, although it's literally coming out in 2 weeks, so it will not be that cold yet, depending on where you live, but for me it will not be that cold yet. We're in the zone where I will start to wear a sweater and I will be very sweaty, but I will stubbornly wear the sweater despite the fact that it's still too hot for one. So this is Firth, and it glows, this yarn. It is stunning. So as you can see, it's currently in vest form. A few of the testers are planning to make vests and just add ribbing to the arm cuffs because it would make a very good vest. It is a set-in sleeve. It's a very, very classic sweater. I would go as far to call it a basic, if I'm honest. It has under the arm, it has a ribbing detail, which I think is glorious and beautiful and like an interesting touch. For the most part, it's stockinette. It's in 2x2 ribbing, which I think is my favourite ribbing. Which I think only, oh that's not true, half fisherman's rib. I was going to say, only a knitter can really say if they've got a favourite type of ribbing. It's half fisherman's rib, I'm lying, but it's like a classic rib. 2x2 is my favourite. I like it more than 1x1. I added the welt detail to the neckband on this one, which came purely from a tester. I want to call her Katrina and I'm worried that I've got her name wrong. I think her name's Katrina. It's not her Instagram handle, so that's why I'm getting confused. Apologies Katrina if I got your name wrong, but you know who you are. And she added the neckline mod and I loved it so much that it's going to go into the pattern because a few testers loved it as well. So it's just a little double knit welt at the neckline. I think it complements the 2x2 really nicely. So it is a DK and 4-ply weight pattern. My sample is DK weight, and so I'm using it's got bust shaping, but I'm not busty, so my sample has no bust shaping. I am using these 2 nuggets of yarn, and I'm actually gonna have maybe more yarn left than I thought I would have. This is from Sunday Fibre Company, who I think I raved about a lot last time. I've never used her yarn before. I would absolutely order it again. It was the True Colours base that came out last year. I'm like, why is it not focusing? Because it's on front of my face. It's so, so, so pretty. And it's been really lovely to work with. It's been very even. I am not, what's the word? Alternating skeins. I was going to say because life's too short, and I realise that's a very flippant response because maybe I would need to, but actually it's very, very even yarn, so I'm not finding I have to. I think the existence of the mohair is probably helping with that, but my take is that they look like they're all dyed in the same pot and it's very, very even. That's when I hold up the camera and you can see a big line. No, I really don't think so. So I've done the body, I've got 2 sleeves to do. Our pattern pictures are a week on Sunday. So like 10 days away. So I have 2 days to finish the sleeves. I need to pick up the sleeves today and get them done. I'm very excited. I think it's going to be our biggest photo shoot to date, and even my wonderful photographer Jasmine is one of the test knitters this time around. So that's very exciting. And I just want to wear this. I think this will be so perfect in the next couple of months when it's starting to cool down, but it's not like super chunky sweater weather yet. My first sample is in red, so I think the two of them will go very, very nicely together. And yeah, so I finished the body. I'll pick up sleeves this evening. I've got a new episode of The Summer I Turned Pretty to watch tonight, which if you know, you know. If you're not watching it and you think, why would I enjoy watching a TV show about teenagers making bad life decisions, then all I can say is that's how I felt for a while, and then I started watching it and now I'm obsessed. So take that with a pinch of salt. I would say I would recommend it, but also not if you don't want to obsess about teenagers until the season's done. So I have that to watch, and I think there's also a new rom-com movie on Amazon Prime with the guy from Riverdale, KJ Apa. Is that his name? I'm not even sure. But I love it. I love an Amazon Prime romance. I think they do them really well. I think they always have very good chemistry between the two leads. So that is my plan. I'm gonna get this room ready for our guests. I'm gonna make dinner, and then I'm gonna pick up some sleeve caps and go. Okay, I have 2 more whips. Let me show you this one. So I have mentioned before that I do a charity pattern every year, and I'm working on my 4th one, which is quite cool, and it's actually kind of grown. I'm like sitting just far enough away from the back of the sofa that I'm slouching. There we go, that's better. Okay, now I can slouch, but I'm slouching more effectively. I'm not slouching like this, I'm slouching like... such valuable content I add to the internet. I release a charity pattern every single year, and I think this year it's growing. It's definitely meant to be 3 patterns. It might be 4. There might be a 4th one, TBD, but I'm working on number 2. So the first one is my Kintra scarf. I could put a picture here. I finished that one and showed it last episode. I'm currently working on a bag. So the plan is a couple of fun things that are maybe a little bit different that you can add the colourwork motif to. So the second thing I'm working on is the bag. And I have all of this to show, which is really not very exciting, but it's actually quite a lot of knitting. So I decided that the base will be in double knit. So I'm currently working through that double knit base, and then I'll be picking up around the outsides and working some colourwork and then sealing the top. I've taken the dimensions from my current favourite bags, which are the Strikkefeber Mila bag. I like how I just say that with a vague accent and hope it's correct. As you can tell, I like this bag. I have a couple. I bought them all. And I like the dimensions, so I measured up this bag and decided what measurements were that I like, because I feel like this, what I love about this is it holds a whole sweater. It's funny because I wouldn't say that this bag looks particularly larger or smaller than this bag. It's probably an accurate description, but there's just about the same amount of knitting, and this one is full and my project's getting wrinkled, and this one's still got loads of space left. It's just maybe like 20% bigger than most other bags that fall in the same category, and I really like that. So I took the measurements of this bag and I'm currently working on that. So I'm kind of, it's fun, it's a bit different. I've not made a bag before, so my brain's having to work in a sort of slightly different way, which I always love. But I am at the point now where I've worked at the start part and I would like the double knitting to be done so I can get to the fun part. But it's very transportable. Very portable is the word I'm looking for. If we, there are a couple of dog walks that we do where we have to drive like 10-15 minutes to them, so this just comes in the car with me in the mornings on the way to the dog walk. And I think it would be a good one to take to shows. Although I do have some sweaters that are just stockinette in the round, and probably I should just work on the stockinette in the round ones. I'm looking off to the side to see how easy it is to do this without looking. It's mostly okay, but if I made a mistake in the dark with navy yarn, I'd be in trouble, I think. I'm using Sadness Garm Pure Gynt, which is what I use for one of my samples. I think I'm doing all of my samples in this yarn because it's just a really easy one and they have nice colours. I've got a selection of yarns in here and I'm not entirely sure which ones I'm going to use, if I'm being perfectly honest. So these are the 4 colours that I currently have in the bag alongside the navy. I think I like these. I think that's nice, and I'll include the navy in it as well. Not gotten to that part yet. I just chucked them in here in the hope that that's what I come to. So that's going to be fun. And then what else am I going to do? I've got a hot water bottle cover and maybe a pillow. And I'm inspired to make a pillow because I have these ugly pillows and I would like to cover them with a better pillow. So I thought I would just knit one. I ordered the yarn for it. We'll see if it makes it to the final cut and if I run out of time, which is the more likely option. Okay. 2 more. This is what happens when I finally film on track and I'm not leaving it 4 weeks in between episodes and I have 16 projects to show you. This next one is fun. This is the reason why I need my cord back from my Taynish, because I need to try this pattern on. So when I was working, I thought about this, I had like an aha moment. I was working on the Insh Henley and I was thinking about how, oh, I'll just add a stockinette version. And then I was thinking, well, I've got another popular pattern which I could just add a stockinette version to. This is the Lannarch. If you couldn't tell by anything else today that I am ready for it to be autumn, I am. So this is my Lannarch sweater. So the Lannarch is a pattern that came out 2.5 years ago in like March 2023, I'm guessing, 2023. And it's one of my most popular patterns. It is a drop shoulder, sorry I'm slouching again. It is a drop shoulder zip sweater. So it's got a 3/4 zip. It's worked on all over half fisherman's rib. I love that pattern. And it's, like I say, it's really popular. I'm also like down with the TikTok knitters now. Like I'm trying to be a youthful knitter. Not really good at it, but that's okay. And it seems to be very popular with that generation, with like Gen Z knitters. And I thought it would be fun to try a stockinette version and then to add the stockinette version to the original pattern. It will not be an individual pattern, it will just be an add-on. But I thought it could be fun, and I also thought I'm working through this pattern coming in 2 different fits, one graded to a men's size chart and one graded to a women's size chart, and I thought I could do the same with the Lannarch. I will say the Lannarch works already. It's very, very, very regularly knit by men or for men, but maybe there are some fit changes I could make by offering 2 different fit options. So, as you can see, I've made quite good progress. I joined it in the round last night. Oh, my card's gonna run out. Okay, I'm back. I don't really know what happened. I had like 16 old podcast episodes on the same card. That's what happened. So this is the Lannarch. It is, what am I trying to say about this? It is a drop shoulder pattern. I joined in the round. So the neckline is like double thickness, and then I joined in the round. And there are a couple of things that, it's a different construction to how I normally work. Both in the way the neckline is constructed, that's also quite different, but also just the fit is a little bit different. And I'm a little bit wary. It's been a few years since I knit the Lannarch, and so I just wanted to get it to a point where I could try it on. And I tried it on this morning and I was still like, I can't tell. So that's why I need my full try on card to be able to give it a proper try. It is a true drop, so like it comes all the way down here. There's no top of arm shaping, it's just gonna be a straight sleeve. And I'm enjoying it. It's a much more flexible fabric, like that's the word, drapey fabric than my first Lannarch. So there are 2 reasons for that. One is that half fisherman's rib has more structure to it, and the second is that I'm using a fingering weight in mohair blend. So there's also a possibility that this is not the right yarn for the pattern, which if that is the case I'm going to be a little bit annoyed by. I was checking other patterns at this gauge with chunky necklines to see if it made a difference. I don't think it does. Unsurprisingly to anyone that's watching, I'm already planning a second sample, even though I already own 3 Lannarchs. Is that right? Yeah, I already own 3. I think I'd like a different one. I think the second one will be woolly wool, and that will be a bit of a validation. Like I think that'll help, knowing that's coming, but I have I don't really have a horrible feeling. I have a little bit of nerves that this yarn is not quite right, but I've got a zipper on the way, so my plan is to keep going and probably get the zipper in, or at least get the facing done, and then make a decision. The yarn is Knitting for Olive Merino. You can tell I'm very close to the ends. They're both in burnt orange in the merino and in the mohair. It's also a light merino, sorry, a light fingering, so it's 250 meters per 50 grams, whereas a typical fingering would be more like 200 meters. So it's a little thinner than normal, which leads to lovely drape, but there's a possibility that it's going to be a bit too drapey. Now, I was more worried about it before. When I just knit the collar and the back, the collar felt so heavy. It already feels better. But as you can see, yeah, it might just be one of the collars that like lies open more. I'm not really sure. So there's a possibility I've chosen the wrong yarn, and there's a possibility it's all going to be okay. The problem is I'm a bit obsessed about it and I really want to wear it, so if I try this on and work out that it does not fit, or if I, worse, finish the entire thing and decide it doesn't fit, I'm going to be a little bit distraught, and it's going to go into the naughty corner for a while. So yeah, we will see. The collar is lovely. I like that. The colour and the colour. I like both of those things. I'm a little bit worried about the fit. Well, not even the fit, just the yarn choice. But yeah, like I said, I've got this much left to go on these 2. So my plan was to finish off these. And then I also think that the sleeve's going to help, because the sleeve's going to pull out when you pick up the sleeve on a drop shoulder, it like pulls the arm down a little bit, which means it sits better around the shoulders. So I think what I'll do is finish this ball, do the facing, then maybe pick up the sleeves, and then decide. I don't know. I'm talking out loud whilst processing decisions, and I don't have answers to either of those things. But yes, and also maybe it's a good thing if I'm cutting my mind up, because I should stop working on this and I should start working on my Firth sleeves. I find that if I've got more than one plain stockinette project, I'm not very good at making a decision about which one to work on, and so I just pick one and then do them all. But really that one should be the Firth at the moment. Okay, excitingly, I've only got like 2 things left to say, which is, first of all, I've got a new project to cast on. So I mentioned that I'm working on my second samples of, well, second and fifth samples of a couple of upcoming designs. So the Afric is a raglan colourwork design. It comes out the start of October, and I had great intentions of making it a very brightly coloured second sample with like really fun, like really saturated colours, and I just don't want that. I don't want it. I think I do want it, but I think that my brain is so autumnal right now that all I can think of is greens and browns. So I've got some yarn coming for that. It's ordered from knit.co.uk, who are on holiday until next week, so it's not going to arrive until the end of next week, which is fine. I've told myself I can't cast that on until I make some progress elsewhere anyway, so that's okay. But that is, actually I'd like to get the bag done because the bag's colour work. So if I can get the colour work, or at least the colour work element of the bag done before that yarn arrives, then I'll cast it on when it comes. And then the other thing is an acquisition, but I've already put it in a bag because with guests coming to stay, and I might cast this on this weekend, I wanted to have it out of the room that they're going to stay in. This is tin silk mohair from Sandnes Garn and Filcolana Peruvian Highland Wool for another sample of my Creole. I'm a little bit torn on which sample to make. So I love my there's a cardigan, there's a sweater, and there's a vest and a slipover. Now I'm going to have to make a vest at some point, or sorry, I'm going to make a slipover at some point, because the slipover we only added during the tech edit. And I was like, oh, my tech editor was like, do you want me just to write a version up without the buttons? And I was like, sure, let's do that. So I don't have a sample of the slipover, and I was having a look at the testers to be like, is there a tester whose project I could borrow for the pattern pictures, but no one is in, I think, the UK for that, so I don't think we'll be doing that. So I think I should make a sample for that. That is one thing, that's all good. I really want another sample in grey, and I can't decide if it should be the sweater or the cardigan. So here's my pitch, and you can let me know in the comments which it should be. The cardigan, I love the cardigan. I think I prefer the cardigan to the sweater as a pattern. It has a cable down the neckline, which I really love. I think it's really interesting. I will wear it fully buttoned up probably regardless of either way. So functionally it will be the same as the sweater. It won't add any function to my life. My favourite cardigans are the ones that I wear fully buttoned up all the time. No comments on that part. That's maybe just an oddity of myself. So functionally it doesn't make a difference. Visually I think I prefer the look of the cardigan. Okay, so that's, yeah, visually, functionally, and then like about the knitting procedure, like the knitting process, I will build and knit a sweater faster than a cardigan, because the cardigans have purl rows and I'm slower at purling. So it will be a more efficient, is that a word? I'll get the end product faster, which I might be on a bit of a time crunch for, so maybe the sweater is best for that. And there's a fourth reason. Oh, I love my cardigan sample. I have a cardigan in this exact yarn, well not the same mohair, but in Filcolana Peruvian Highland Wool and mohair. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. It's probably the favourite thing I knit last year. So if I knit a sweater in the same combination, will I love the sweater as much? Or do I just knit another one of the cardigans because I love the cardigan anyway? I also already have a grey cable knit sweater. I don't know if I have a picture of it, but if I do I'll put it here. Oh, it's right there, but if I pull it down is everything going to come down? Oh, avalanche. Oh god, there's so much going to fall. It's okay, I only brought down 4 other sweaters. Oh hey! Let's talk about owning more than one sweater in the same colour. This is my cable knit Lauder. I love this. I wore this to death in New Zealand. Okay, stick with me here. It's a different colour, right? Like, it's a different colour. It'll be a little darker because the mohair is darker. I will agree that this is basically the same colour. Yeah, this is the same colour. This, though, would make it darker, and so it will be a different sweater. I also meant to swatch it because maybe this is too light. I'll swatch and see if it actually darkens it up a lot, but I want it to be a dark grey sweater, and I'm not sure it will be dark grey with this combo. someone's at the door and the dog's not happy. So yes, thoughts and opinions on this. Do I make the cardigan or the sweater? And 2, do I stick with this grey or do I get a lighter grey? Yes, Sam's having a full conversation with the dog in the other room. And then last but not least are some acquisitions. So I guess that was an acquisition, the yarn for the cables. I was going to cast that on straight away, but now I'm thinking I might just delay that and try and finish up my whips because I'm not sure I'm ready to make a decision on that yet. I'm struggling with decision making at the moment. I'm a bit indecisive. So I went on Friday I did a little yarn shop tour of Edinburgh. There's a video, I'll put it, I think there's a way to link it here somewhere or here somewhere. And I'll put it down below as well. It's a pretty short video, I think it's maybe 25-30 minutes, and honestly the last 10 minutes is just me talking, so there's maybe 20 minutes of footage of the shops. But there's a newly opened yarn shop in Edinburgh, and I thought with there being a new one opening, I should take the opportunity to go to all of them. And so I filmed all of them. I made that video in the past, however it was a while ago, and now of course there's 1, a new store, and 2, one of the shops, Ginger Twist, has moved to a larger location. So I went and filmed all of them, and I had such a nice day. It was really, really lovely. Of course I knew everyone this time. I'm not sure I knew everyone last time, so I chatted to everyone in Ginger Twist. I chatted to everyone, so there was a couple of people there that I was chatting to from the staff, and then I went to Kathy's Knits and Kathy was there and we had a chat, and then I went to the new shop and I didn't know actually the owners there, but they were very friendly, very lovely. And then I went to the last shop and I spoke to May and like we were having a chat. So for one, it was nice to go and like know people and feel like I was contributing. That was lovely. It was a nice day because there were just lots of people out for the new shop opening. So I went to the new shop opening and saw half my knit night in the shop at once. I was like, oh, I know you too. And the new shop is lovely. It's really, really, really nice. I was a little bit dubious. Not dubious, like I wasn't doubting them or anything, but I was kind of like, I don't know what a new shop will offer, because Ginger Twist has a little bit of everything. They have hand-dyed yarn, they have some Scottish brands, they have commercial brands, they have accessories. Like that's the local yarn shop I would consider to be my LYS, and they have everything. But like I'd say if you want like hand-dyed or like a souvenir yarn, they're the place to go. Kathy's Knits does rustic yarns, like Scottish woolly wool, some more like British woolly wools, and then Bee Inspired Fibres has European commercial. A little bit of Scottish in there, but for the most part I would say European commercial. So I'm like, what is a new shop going to offer? And then I walk in and I'm like, I love that yarn, I love that yarn, I love that yarn, I want that yarn. I felt like, having never spoken to anyone in that shop before the day I walked in, I feel like they went into my brain, plucked out some of my favourite brands and put them all on my shelf, which is that was a cool experience. I'm actually going to go back this week to drop off some of my sweaters, because they don't have that many samples, and it's also great for me because they're, you know, to show my samples off instead of them sitting just on the shelves above my head. But I think I have 5 or maybe even 6 samples in yarns. I think I have 5 in yarn that they stock, just because I love their yarn so much. So what jumps to mind? Rauma, which I'm a big fan of, and Durare Natura, and then other things they're stocking which I thought were interesting. An interesting selection of hand-dyed, a very like beautiful, like lovely looking shop. I bought one thing. They are stocking Hillesvåg, and this is Tinder, which I was very excited about. They stock this yarn at another UK shop, which is Knit With Attitude down in London, but I've only been to that shop once, I think, and I don't think I was that fussed about this yarn when I hadn't really heard of it and didn't really know what it was. And then I've gone to order from a few times and I've not really known what I wanted, so I thought it was nice because this way I can just buy a single skein, I can do some swatching, I can see what I think. This is lovely. It is the DK weight version, so it is, I actually don't know what the yardage is, I didn't check, 260 metres per 100 grams. So a little on the light side of a DK in this very beautiful rich sort of pine green. So no plans but swatching, I thought would be a great shout. And I was actually thinking that the slip over version of the vest I might use I don't know the names of any of them, but there's one that's slightly chunkier, which is like an 18 stitch gauge, it's an Aran worsted weight. I thought I could pick up some of that for the vest. And then I went to Be Inspired Fibres, and I wasn't planning to get anything whatsoever, but they had a yarn which I've been chatting about a lot recently with people from Knit Night, which is yarn from North Ronaldsay. I got 2 skeins of this yarn. This is, I think it's just very cool. It is grown and spun on the island of North Ronaldsay, and they grade it on the island, so they like go through any of it, and anything that's high enough quality and soft enough to be made into hand knitting wool they keep, and otherwise it gets used elsewhere. I will say the spinning is a little inconsistent, but I think that's just part and parcel. Not problematically so, just a few areas that are like very, very loosely spun. But I'll get over that. I have a plan for this. The plan is part of a bigger plan. And that plan is both unconfirmed and top secret. I don't know if it's top secret or not. But I have another project, a bigger project that I might be working on once I get some confirmation about it. And I'd like to use Scottish wool. And for the most part, I've not dipped my toes into it at all because I'm waiting to get confirmation, and I'll contact yarn companies if and when that happens. But I saw this yarn right there in the shop and I thought I should buy it while it's right there, and that's what I did. So I got 2 skeins of that. I think it'll be enough. Each one's 150 grams, so fairly chunky, and I have a plan, but we'll swatch it and see if it works. So yeah, that was really fun. Altogether it was a lovely day. I really, really liked it. I just felt very like, I had a very full cup at the end of it. It felt like a very like community driven day, and that was really nice, and yeah, I liked it. I liked seeing everyone. By the time I got to the last shop I was frazzled, and actually I left the last shop and I had such a bad headache, mostly because I hadn't drank any water all day, and because I stayed up late the night before at a friend's show called Swamp Blesque, which was a Shrek themed burlesque show. So yeah, but I actually had a really lovely day. So that is everything for me. Personal updates, everything's very busy. I was saying to Sam this morning when we were walking the dog, I said, I never account for the fact that August will be busy. I just think August will just be fine. And then August arrives and it's so busy, and I always forget this every single year. But that is because we have people staying for August because of the Fringe Festival. We're both more sociable, we've got shows to go and see. I don't think we do we don't really do a whole lot of Fringe, but I've been to maybe 5 shows, I'll maybe go to another 4 or 5 shows, and so it just ends up being quite busy. Very fun, but yeah, sort of unexpectedly so, although it should be expected, but we just for some reason forget every year. And what else? My birthday's coming up on Tuesday. I feel like I got to 30 and I'm no longer excited about birthdays. Is that just a life thing? Maybe. It's nice. I could happily stay 29 instead of turning 31, but it's okay. And I don't know, I've got nothing planned for it whatsoever. I have asked for one gift, but other than that I don't know what I'm getting, what gifts I'm getting, I don't know what I'm doing, I have nothing planned, so that'll be interesting. And Sam's mum's going to stay with us for a couple of weeks, in a few weeks, so probably not until I film the next episode, but we're planning some of that. We're doing like a little trip to the Highlands, we're going to Aviemore, and yeah, altogether fun things. Some big projects maybe happening, maybe not happening. Lots of knitting being done, as you can tell, but not enough knitting. I need to be doing some more knitting. I'll take that. That is not a bad situation to be in. So, thank you for joining me. I'll be back next week with a video. And at this moment in time, I'm not sure what that video will be. It might be a de-stash video. It will be a de-stash video. That's exactly what it'll be. I need to do a de-stash next week. I totally forgot. Oh. That's a bit stressful. I mean, it's not really as fun, but it's already stressing me out. My Knit Night does a yarn swap twice a year, and I missed the last one, and I currently have yarn exploding out of my storage situation, which means I need to do a de-stash. So I thought I would film that and we can go through everything that I have. It's probably going to be a stupidly long video, but it'll be fun. I'm dreading it already. That's all for me. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for looking at my knits. Please give me opinions on the cables, and I'll be back next week de-stashing some yarn. Take to Knit Night yarn swap. Until then.